afternoon and welcome to the May 8th meeting of the Columbia Rotary Club, one of the biggest and oldest clubs around. It's wonderful to be here with you. It's wonderful to see all your smiling faces. Another great day for Rotary, and we thank you. We have some very special visiting Rotarians over the end of the room, so we're grateful to have them here, and we'll speak more to you momentarily, but thank you for being here with us today. We'll open with our national anthem with Rusty and Jill. I was lip syncing and just listening here. Yeah, me too. Yeah, thank you. Thank all of you for joining in on that. I was going to say we didn't invite you back if you were doing amazing and wonderful voice.
Sorry.
Audrey Brown, who's already been helping, will deliver our invocation.
Good afternoon. I invite you to pray according to your faith tradition as I pray according to mine. Let us pray. Almighty and eternal God, we give thanks this day for your many blessings, for the food you have set before us, for the hands that prepared it, and those that receive it. We thank you for the freedom to gather and express different ideas, knowing that open discussion leads to greater understanding. O Lord, when the storms of life surround us, help us be still and know that you are God, that where two or more are gathered, there will you be also, and that when trials overtake us, you will carry us. Strengthen us to your service today, knowing that when we serve others, we serve you. These things we pray in your holy name. Amen.
Thank you. I want to remind you today, before we get too far along here, about the little blue buckets on your tables, the cart fund. This is a special time for CART because the board of directors of the CART fund will meet Tuesday and will award probably somewhere between $500,000 and $600,000 in grants to Alzheimer's researchers. So that money that you're putting in that bucket the newest money will be going to work tomorrow as it's granted out to some of the leading Alzheimer's researchers in the country. So keep that in mind, and please put $1 or $2 in the bucket if you would. Becky, going to introduce visiting Rotarians and guests.
Well, we are delighted to have a number of guests today with us. We've got 5 visiting Rotarians, and as I introduce them, if you please stand. We welcome Butch Wallace with the West Metro Rotary, and our Congressman Joe Wilson from the Casey Rotary. Glad to have you here. Ian Cockrell with the Capital Rotary. Joe Pipe from the Columbia East Rotary. And we have a very special guest, Rotarian Anita. She is from Pune, India, and she is the president-elect, and she came with her husband. She is the president-elect of her Rotary Club in India. So we're thrilled to have her here. She's a daughter. But we are thrilled, and I hope you will come back and visit us if you are here any longer. And any other Rotarians that have guests?
Yes. Joe Pope is the new Sam McGregor, and he has an announcement to make.
Okay.
Good afternoon. I'm with Columbia East Rotary Club, and it's that time of year again. We're selling Vidalia onions. And these are just not ordinary Vidalia onions, these are magic onions. Not only the onions do I sell are cheaper than the ones you can buy in the store, but my onions build a stronger and better community. The funds from our onions go to organizations such as Sister Care, Federation of the Blind, Meals on Wheels, and Camp OK. We just had our 19th Camp OK this past weekend, where we take about approximately 30 students, at-risk youth. We take them out to Camp Gravity in Aiken for a whole weekend, no expenses on them. And we learn team building exercises. Each camper gets their own pair of tennis shoes. We do archery, we do high ropes, we do low ropes, we swim, and we have a great time. And we had a wonderful camp this past weekend. I'm going to be here at the door. The onions come in tomorrow off the truck. I'll be more than happy to drop them off at your house or your office. They're $20 for a 25-pound bag. Thank you very much.
Anybody else?
I'm Kurt Litton with Midlands Media Group, and my guest today is my friend and partner, business partner, Keith Stover.
I'm Karen Blanchard, and my guest today is Karen Little. She is the Development Director for Free Clinic.
Thank you. My name is Blake Buchanan. I do not have a guest, but everybody sees the Rotary Night 2.0 flyers. There may not be enough at every table for the Fireflies game. So the date on here says May 5th. You can ignore it. Don't worry about May 5th. Even though that's passed, it's okay. So next Friday, May 19th, some of you came out last year, and we hope that more of you will come out this year. The tickets are $9. And if you want to do the food voucher, that's an additional $5, so 9 or 14. You, guests, family. We obviously choose. We want to be the biggest out there. We mentioned being the biggest and the oldest. Last year we had the most. I can tell you right now, Spring Valley Rotary has sold over 150 tickets. I don't even know how they did it, but you know, we can make this a competition. But if you want to bring this back to me next Monday with your checks, cash, whatever you want, I'll be here Monday and I'll accept all of that then. So if you have any questions, you can find me afterwards as well. Thank you.
Anybody else?
Hello, I'm Eric Davis. I'm an old member of this club. Back again this week to talk to you about the Vista Night Rotary Club Garden Party. It's May 23rd. Very easy event to attend. $50 gets you great food, live music, and door prizes, and a walk through the beautiful Riverbanks Botanical Garden. I'm here this week with tickets. I also have flyers, if you would like one, that shows you links where you can buy online. I put them out on the tables last week, but the very efficient Siebel staff threw most of my extras away before I managed to come in and collect them. So this week I'm going to hand them out at the door. In any case, as you are buying your onions, if you hand me $50, I'll give you a ticket to the garden party.
Anyone else? Well, we welcome all of our visitors and our visiting Rotarians. Thank you for being here.
All right. Is Anderson Bass in here? No, don't see him. I've been trying to work out a check exchange between Anderson Bass and Major Colson, the Salvation Army. So Roger, it's going to be you and I. We're going to do it. I will tell you this. Anderson put in a request to his company. He's the manager of the Joseph A. Bank store here, or stores here in town. And he put in a request during the Christmas bell ringing for an extra check for the Salvation Army for the bell ringing process, but it took too long. It got here just a little while ago, so instead of adding it to the bell ringing, I have a $1,000 check from Joseph A. Bank to the Salvation Army, and Roger's going to use it for.
It's going to go to our summer programming where we do day camp. Over 200 kids last year got to do day camp for 2 weeks, or they went to our sleepover camp in Denton, North Carolina. And so it's a great experience for young people, and we appreciate this.
Yes, good. Thank you. I've been carrying that check around too long. I'm afraid I was going to lose it, so I better go ahead and get that done. Kay Shaw announced to you last week that we are very, very fortunate to be kind of first on the list, an opportunity to go to Boeing plant in Charleston for a tour. And Kay has made lots of arrangements. She's arranged the bus and where we're going to have lunch and the tour, and then getting us back safely from Charleston on the bus. And Kay, if you would stand up, let everybody thank you for all the work you've done putting this together. Kay told me that we have a few spots left. A lot of people signed up last week, but we do have a few spots left. So if you weren't here last week and don't know about it, would like to go with us to Charleston on June 6th. Isn't that right, Kay? June 6th. It's kind of an all-day thing. We're going to meet at the airport campus of Midlands Tech, load on a bus, drive to Charleston. Everything's arranged, and then we will come back after the tour, which probably leave Charleston about 3 o'clock to come back. Great opportunity. I'm really, really excited about it personally, to get to see this fabulous plant in our state. So anyway, Kay will stay behind after the meeting today for a few more minutes, and I guess you're going to be competing with onions and some other things out there, Kay, but if you would like to sign up and you want to be included as a part of our club group, you probably ought to check with her today, or at least let her know that you're going to call her in a day or two or whatever, so she can hold a spot for you. So please do that if you would. I'm really happy to see friend and fellow Rotarian J.T. Gandolfo back in our club this week. And if you wouldn't mind, come on up. I want to hand you this microphone for just a minute. J.T. brought with him a check today for our Centennial Fund. He was inspired by the Clean Water Project that we're doing in Peru, and I'd like him to tell you a little bit about what he saw in it.
Thank you, President John. First of all, it's great to be back. I really appreciate the club putting up with a very long leave of absence. And I do want to, I have to tell you something that really, really touched me. The town of Echo Apu, Peru, or John Bacon. And I'm going to put John Bacon at the top of the list. He has stayed with me and been soliciting, as he should, as a fundraiser, funds for the Centennial Project. He took the time to visit with me for 45 minutes, and he told me some startling things that I was not aware of. I guess I would have been aware of it had I been in attendance at our Rotary. And that is that the club is taking a different direction, a direction which puts us directly in line to help those people who need our help the most. And I am very impressed, John, and I would suggest that this club give your president a rousing round of applause. Anyway, it's great to be back in Ecoeco, Peru. A town or a village of 1,200 people is going to be shortly on their way because of contributions from a number of people to getting clean water. Thank you. Appreciate it.
It seemed kind of self-serving. I'm sorry about that. I didn't know you was going to go that direction with it.
I didn't know you were going to call me out.
Oh, okay. Thank you, JT. But I am very grateful for a generous gift, and this, with another gift we have, puts us over the top for what our club needs to contribute to this $47,000 clean water project for a village that's very hard to pronounce, Aruqueque in Peru. It will be hopefully the beginning of a long series of very positive things that will happen for this group of 1,200 people over a period of time, but starting off with clean water to drink. We are still working on our Centennial Fund. We've got a long way to go. That put us over the halfway mark, which is really nice, towards the $100,000 goal that we're seeking. So I hope all of you will think carefully about that. And I may not be as persistent with every one of you as I was with JT, but you'll probably get a call from me sooner or later. So I thank you for your support in advance. One other thing I want to mention to you, we are behind our foundation giving, and I'm going to create a special opportunity for you. I haven't quite figured out whether it's approved by everybody yet, but I'm going to take a little executive privilege here. We are going to match for this week any gift of $100 or more to the foundation with 100 points. So if you have given $800 towards a Paul Harris Fellow, and you give $100 more, you get 100 points, which equals 200 points or dollars towards a Paul Harris Fellow, and you can double your money. But the check has to be in by next Monday, the 15th, to count for that. So we will match, can't go more than $100, but we will match any $100 gift between now and next Monday with 100 points, which count the same as dollars towards the Paul Harris Fellow. So if you would kindly consider that, we need to raise some money between now and next Monday. And if you're generous anyway, and you just want to double up on your generosity, now's a great opportunity. So I hope you will assist us in that regard. Several of you put checks in the carton buckets last week, and I thank you very much for that. And ION will be pleased to see us working hard to reach our foundation goal this year. So we got a little ways to go. We got a few people who haven't given anything yet, so we still have opportunity for that $26.50 if you want to do that, or a $100 match opportunity between now and next Monday. So I probably am going to get you last before a speaker. I probably need to be quiet now and let you have some real fun. Our health and happiness speaker today is Glenn Ward. And Glenn says he prepared a little something special for us today. So here comes Brother Glenn.
Well, I thought it was going to be a very slow news day until Carl Byers handed me this. He said that he and his wife, Janice, participated in a 28.3-mile mountain trail hike along with 72 others this past weekend for Make-A-Wish Foundation, South Carolina. And together they raised over $350,000 for Make-A-Wish. Well, this coming Sunday is Mother's Day, and I thought I would move into that theme for just a bit. The maternal bond between a mother and her child or her children is absolutely splendid. I'm so thankful to stand before you today and say that my mom is still living. For those of you who cannot say that, my heart truly goes out to you. My mother is in her 70s now and in pretty good health, and I'm just thankful that she's still here. And my dad is in his 80s and still here, and I'm grateful for that. To see the love of parents, especially the mother's love, is wonderful. I'm also speaking today of grandmother's love as well. I had, of course, two grandmothers, maternal, paternal, and both of them were wonderful ladies. They reared their children in some of the most unthinkable of times, with the Great Depression and World War II and so on and so forth, but somehow they did it. They persevered and did this. When thinking of the love of a mother, I thought about the fact that our moms and grandmoms have given us their love in so many different ways, in so many different facets. One of that is through the spirit of sacrifice, just pure, sheer sacrifice. Long before we heard of Rotary's motto of service above self, we have seen demonstrated and lived out in our lives right in front of us every day the love of our moms and grandmothers. My mother put a word on us as children years ago that I didn't understand or appreciate, and it was the word sacrifice. I can't imagine what I was doing to get on her nerves on any one given day. But she came at me, not with the fly swat this time, but she said, "Glenn, you children need to learn something about sacrifice." And I didn't like that word. All I wanted to hear about was going outside and play, and ice cream and, you know, candy bars and things. I didn't want to hear anything about that word sacrifice. But over and over I heard that word in our home. Now that I'm a grown man and understand that word, I appreciate what my dear mom was trying to teach me. Years ago, a dear friend of mine here was hospitalized at the VA hospital, and then later over into the Dorn Veterans Hospital, told me this as he was lying in a helpless condition. He was thinking back in his childhood days of his mother, and he said, "You know, I have seen my mom during the days of the Depression take food off of her plate and place it on the plates, on my plate and on my little twin sister's plate." Moms do those sorts of things, and they've done those sorts of things for years. And of course, there are untold stories of what moms and grandmothers have done and continue to do. They also demonstrate their love to us through discipline. My dad, whom I just mentioned, was a rather rowdy, hyper little fellow. I think he had ADHD, but back then they called it cutting up and not paying attention. They, you know, have Ritalin now. For him, it was a therapy called paddling. And his mother could dispense it very quickly and very easily. He said his mom would always say, "Son, this is going to hurt me much more than it's going to hurt you." Well, you say, well, did your grandmother discipline your dad that way? Yes, it was called good old-fashioned discipline. And not one night, Judge, did any law enforcement officer ever have to come to my grandparents' home and say, "You need to come get one of your children out of jail." Mom and Dad and Grandmom and Granddad were the Department of Corrections in our home back then. It's just the way it worked. Well, this kind of goes with you through life. I've been places as a young man, not doing anything bad or awful or anything, but just a place where my mother told me you shouldn't go, the whole time knowing my mom was watching me. This was before you did it on a smartphone. My mother has eyes in the back of her hair, and I know she does. She keeps it covered up with her hair, but they really do have eyes. They watch you wherever you go. It's an amazing thing to see how this is done. Now, this heavy hand of discipline that they bring to us sometimes is certain, of course, for our good. But it's also that same hand that my dad said that when he was a little boy and he had a fever and he didn't feel well, he said, if my mom ever came into my bedroom and just took her little hand and placed it on my forehead and asked me, "Son, how are you feeling?" He said it didn't matter how I was feeling. He said I felt better right then and right there. Well, there's one other way that moms love us and show their love for us, and that's through the little things. It's not just the discipline they give us. It's not just the sacrifices they've made and continue to make, but it's in the little things. Marilyn Monroe, I'm told, the Marilyn Monroe, was reared in foster homes. I didn't know that until I read this. And as she was being interviewed as a grown woman many years ago, the interviewer was asking her, "Miss Monroe, when you were a little girl growing up in foster homes, did you ever feel loved in any of those foster homes?" She said, "Yes. One day, the lady of the home with whom I was living, the lady was putting on her makeup. And she reached down, I think Marilyn at the time was probably 4 or 5 or 6 years old. She said she reached down and picked me up and placed me on the vanity right there in the bathroom where she was putting on her makeup. And she said as she took the makeup brush and dipped it into the makeup and placed it on her face, she reloaded that brush and placed a little bit of that same makeup on my face too. And she said right then and there, I knew that that foster mom, that lady, loved me. So sometimes they go quietly and sometimes they go with a heavy hand of discipline or whatever it might be. But our moms and grandmothers and aunts and all these other wonderful ladies the good Lord has placed in our hearts and lives, they know what they're doing. They do it their own way. And so that's why I say this coming Sunday, I'm going to take my mother out wherever she wants to eat. I'm going to get her whatever she wants. She's already told me what she wants, by the way. And I'm going to make sure she gets that. But most of all, I'm going to look at her in her eye, in her eyes, and tell her that I love her. Thank you.
Thank you, Glenn. Next, we get to hear from our area governor. Friend and fellow Rotarian Ione Cockrell has a little word she'd like to give to our members. And I'll try to bring the mic down for her.
Thank you, John, and thank you. It's always good to be with this club. I see a lot of familiar faces, a lot of faces that I always enjoy seeing. Today I'm here to say thank you to this club for all the hard work that you have done in the past year, and to John for his hard work. Your club earned the district leadership citation that used to be called the governor's citation. And not every club earns this. It signifies that your club has reached goals in 5 different categories. And they have to do with the foundation, with service, with things like the water project. I congratulate you on that, on administration and so forth. If you get a leadership citation, that means you're doing an awful lot of things right, and that you are doing the things that you need to do to keep your club advancing forward. And so I thank you, I appreciate it, and I'd like to present this to John for you to add to your banner. And I'd also like to challenge you and John to get the presidential citation. That when your work is completed in June 30th, then that's when we'll find out about that. And also Carrie, I'd like to challenge her for next year in this club to do a repeat performance. Thank you.
One of the things that we have yet to do is reach our goals, every Rotarian every year, in giving to the foundation and trying to get closer to our giving per member goals. So don't forget that. We got a lot of work to do between now and next Monday, and I appreciate your help on that. Now I will ask Catherine Davis to introduce our speaker for the day.
Good afternoon. It is my honor and privilege to introduce our speaker today. It's Barbara Willm. Many of you know her, of course, but she serves currently as the Vice President of Development and Community Relations for Lexington Medical Center. In her expanded role, Barbara serves as the administrative leader of the Lexington Medical Center Foundation and represents Lexington Medical Center in community affairs across the Midlands. Barbara has served Lexington Medical Center in a variety of roles since 1986, when she began her career as an operating room nurse manager. After serving an instrumental role in developing and leading Lexington Medical Center's 6 community medical centers, Barbara assumed the role of Vice President of Community Relations in 2008. Extremely active throughout the Midlands philanthropic and business communities, Barbara is recognized as an advocate for the underserved and bringing her clinical and business expertise to a number of community initiatives, one of which you will hear about today. In the past, Barbara has served as the chair of both the Lexington and Irmo Chambers of Commerce and currently serves on the boards of the Free Medical Clinic, Transitions, Lexington County Development Corporation, and she chairs the United Way Community Impact Committee and also serves on the Executive Committee of the United Way of the Midlands. Fellow Rotarians, please join me in welcoming a tremendous Midlands Community Service colleague and champion, and more importantly, my friend, Barbara Willm.
So I'll tell you that a lot of people ask me, Catherine Davis is going to introduce you? Like, do y'all speak to each other? Do you? And I'll tell you, Catherine and I have been colleagues and friends for many years, and we see each other, so we do kind of the same work. So we're both out everywhere all the time together, and it's always fun to be able to go up and greet each other and say, you know, we really all get along just fine. And so when Carrie asked me to speak, and I realized that you were going to have Senator Lindsey Graham here today, and he was unable to come, I promise I am not going to talk about the health care bill. But I do appreciate Congressman Wilson joining us today. Always good to see you, Joe. So when Carrie asked me what I could speak about, I do a variety of things for the hospital. I, in my community relations role, give away the hospital money. And it's really nice because people are very, very nice to you when you show up with a check. Just like, you know, JT knows, they're happy to see you. On the other side, a year and a half ago, I assumed responsibility for the hospital foundation. So now I beg for money. And the good news is nobody knows which one I'm coming to see them for, so they still let me in the door. It works well for me. But as I was thinking about what I wanted to talk about today, I told Carrie that I wanted to share with y'all something that I don't think most people know about. And that is the extremely strong partnership and cooperative work that our healthcare systems do for the citizens of the Midlands that we all serve. Everybody always knows when the hospitals are fighting because it's usually in the paper, and you know, we all are in the same business. And we have, at times, different initiatives that we want to do that may impact the other healthcare systems. But you know, it's just business. We are all there to take care of our community. That's what our purpose is. Every single hospital administrator you talk to, every healthcare system you visit, we all have the same mission. So I want to take you back to 2011. Melanie Matney from the South Carolina Hospital Association said she wanted to meet with some folks from the different healthcare systems, the United Way, DHEC, and the Blue Cross Blue Shield. So I'm representing Lexington as community relations. My good friend Vince Ford, who is I'm trying to think what his chairman is. He's Chief Community Officer. Anyway, he's the man. He does community stuff at Palmetto Health. And Joan Bumpus, who is the Vice President for Mission and Ministry at Providence Health Systems. Mac Bennett, CEO of the United Way, and Harvey Galloway from Blue Cross Blue Shield Foundation. And at that time, it was Ernie Bell, who was the director of DHEC. So we got together with the Hospital Association, and they said they did this thing in Greenville, and it was called Mission. And what it was for was to provide 2 days of free care for the uninsured. And she wanted to know, would we consider taking that on for our area? And Vince stepped right up and, as Vince does on occasion, spoke for all of us and said that not only did he think we wanted to do it, he would chair that first year. He would be in charge of it. Well, the first year we did it at the Coliseum, which in hindsight was a terrible location to try to do that just because of all the steps, and you got people that need care, and it was an interesting challenge. But I'll tell you that Friday morning, when I got there at 4 a.m., I looked at the Coliseum, and the line of people desperately needing medical services was wrapped around the Coliseum twice. There were people there that had been there camping out for days, holding a place in line. The very first patient that we saw needed dental care, and she had 17 teeth extracted that day and had come from Myrtle Beach. And we are very good, community-minded, caring medical professionals. We were blown away. We were providing medical, dental, and vision services for those patients. Well, the medical patients, we were actually able to take care of. The vision patients, we had a limited number of slots that we could fill, but we were able to see those patients. At 3 o'clock in the afternoon, the first day, we had to go out and be a part of the leadership team. I was one of those that had to go out and tell people that all the dental slots were filled and we could not see any more dental patients, and we had to turn people away. So we did mission for 4 years, actually. We moved to the fairgrounds the next year, which was wonderful because it's flat. There's lots of room. It was just a great setup. We partnered with the Dental Association, and Providence was in charge that year. Lexington did the following year, and then United Way was in charge the last year. And we were able, because of having the Dental Association there, we were able to see so many more dental patients. And they had set up 80 beds, dental beds, and had volunteer dentists coming in, rotating. So at one time, for the whole 2 days, they're running 80 beds of dental patients. Again, the medical patients we could take care of, because we have a lot of different places where we take care of medical patients. The free medical clinic, which I sit on your board. We have every ER in the country sees patients uninsured at no cost to them. So we had a lot of options for them, but it quickly became apparent to us that the number one unmet need in our community was adult dental care. You can find dentists that'll take care of children. It is extremely hard to find that care for adults that are uninsured. And so we decided as a group, we named ourselves, this little group of folks that were just committed to this, we named ourselves the Midlands Healthcare Collaborative. And I don't know if we think that gave us legitimacy or whatever, and each of the hospital systems and the United Way financially contributes to all of our efforts. So we funded the mission project. And so we were committed that we wanted to find a 365-day-a-year solution to the adult dental problem, not just 2 days a year in August when it's so hot. So we kept doing the mission project while we were working on a permanent solution. And we discovered that we had the ability to bring the right people to the table to be able to come up with a solution for these patients. And I guess the downside was it took us from 2011 to 2015 to find this, but we were committed that we were going to do it and we were not going to give up. So we went to Richland County Council and asked them, DHEC was at the table with us, and they were reorganizing, and Ernie Bell was retiring, they were doing some different things, and so they were actually downsizing some of the space needs they had. And they were housed in the same building on Hampton Street as the health department. So they were actually gonna vacate a whole floor. So we went and asked Richland County Council if they would give us that space. And so we had architects who volunteered their time, and GMK, they drew the space. We went to them, they gave us space for a dental and vision clinic. Years prior to that, when Lexington County built their new health department in Red Bank, they gave space in that building for a dental clinic as well. And so we realized that we needed to be able to merge those two together, but we didn't have anybody that could like run a dental clinic. And all the hospital systems are, you know, we're really good at taking care of sick folks, but we don't, that's just not something, dental care is not something we do. Now Palmetto Health does have some training for dentists, but as far as doing that, that just wasn't really in our wheelhouse. So the United Way stepped up, and they said that they would be the managing partner of that. Blue Cross Blue Shield Foundation stepped up and donated $608,000 worth of dental equipment. They bought every piece of equipment in that dental clinic. And the impact to the hospitals was, we were seeing in our ER, at Lexington's ER, we were seeing about 2,000 patients a year who just came for dental pain. They had an abscess, they were in pain, they needed antibiotics, they needed a tooth pulled, but we couldn't do that. So our ER doctors were frustrated. They were, I mean, because it's very hard for a physician to say, I can't give you the care that you need. And so they actually came and asked us to open a dental clinic inside our ER. So I'm like, we're working on something that's really going to be better. And so we were seeing 2,000 patients a year that just came, and you give them pain medicine and you give them an antibiotic. And when the antibiotic was done, then the infection was back, their pain was back, and they were back in the ER again. Palmetto Health Richland was seeing about 2,000 patients a year just for dental. And so this past year, our number was down to about 850 from 2,000. And Palmetto Health has seen similar improvements. So what we did in November of 2015 was cut the ribbon on that dental clinic. It's located at Hampton Street. We expanded the hours. We actually hired a dentist to oversee the operations from a clinical point of view. Dr. Stockton, she is amazing. She still has volunteer dentists that help her, that she staffs both clinics with. But we went from, in Lexington, seeing patients about 2.5 days a week to 5 days a week. Because what we were told very clearly with Mission was that access to dental care was huge. The Eau Claire Cooperative provides dental care. The Good Samaritan Clinic has one dental chair, but we have been able to impact our community so much. And what it took was everybody just coming together and saying, this is important to our community. It had nothing to do with what hospital system we work for. There were no egos at the table. It wasn't about competition. It was about, how are we going to make a statement and address a need that is going to impact everybody in the Midlands? And it does affect everybody, because if you're a taxpayer, you're paying for those visits to the ER. And those are so much more expensive than treating somebody in the most appropriate setting, which is a dental clinic with a dentist. So we actually went and looked across the country to see if we could find another community that had done that, and we have not. And everybody tells us there's no way that you'll get all those people to work, all those hospital systems to work together and do something, but we did. And 2 weeks ago, I guess, there was a conference in Phoenix that Vince went to speak to about this project and about how we were able to do that. So you ask why we only did mission for 4 years, because we wanted a 365-day solution. So now we don't have to do mission 2 days in the hot sun at the fairgrounds. And in the interim, while we were waiting for this to come to fruition, Palmetto Health started a program called the Midlands Dental Initiative. And what they did was Vince went and they got dentists who would agree to see uninsured patients in their office and just work them in their schedule. And we actually funded them at the Medicaid rates that you would have gotten paid. And it was a Band-Aid program to get us through till we could get this dental clinic opened. But we partnered with Palmetto Health, and I actually used to take checks for this program and give them to Catherine Davis in their foundation. So there again, she was glad to see me because I brought her a check. But at any rate, we decided that no matter what, no matter how creative or innovative we needed to be, no matter what we needed to do to get there, we weren't going to take our eye off that prize until we got there. And so I invite any of you to go take a tour of the dental clinic in Richland County or Lexington County or both. They're doing fantastic work there, and I'm just proud to be part of a partnership of people that are committed to making this community a better place to live. I'll be happy to take questions. Yes, sir.
I'd like to say that in the same note that you could ditto the vision part of the clinic, because I've worked there as a volunteer, and now they have a person on staff and they're expanding, and it's a great program and I think Blue Cross played, as well as Palmetto Health, helped pay for the equipment to equip that, and it's a great service to the community, and that story goes with the vision care as well. Ditto everything she said for the vision part.
Thank you. You are right, and thank you for volunteering there. Yes, sir.
How many, I just want to get the number right. How many people a year is this clinic, this dental facility now servicing?
I should know
But you
that
said
off
you're
the
down
top
to
of my head.
830, but we're doing 2,000 each.
Oh, they are serving thousands at that clinic. I mean, it's, so we still have some that come to the ER because they get a toothache and they don't know about it. And so we still have some, and all the ERs do, but as we're educating them, and the free medical clinic refers patients there and all that, so we want to spread that word. So
Long
that's
term,
where
the hospitals are going to fund this long term?
we're committed, yes.
It helps.
Yeah.
In the long run, it's cost saving.
It is. It is cost effective, but it is very important to all of the hospital systems. Yeah. Yes.
I have a question. I'm just baffled now that I hear about dentistry being excluded. What is the logic behind the medical professions excluding teeth, which are a part of your body, as something they will treat in a hospital and not having a wing of the hospital devoted to dentistry? Why exclude teeth?
Well, the most cost-effective way to do it is to have a dental clinic that is set up just for that. And I mean, that's just, it's just like having a specialist. You know, the ERs don't have a specialty set up for every specialty. You send them for that, and dentistry is a specialty. So they'll take care of the patient, but they can't take care of the problem.
Can I say something?
Yeah, jump in.
Just to address your question specifically, Palmetto Health has a dental center on its campus at Palmetto Health Richland. And that dental clinic or center is busy for probably the most, I hate to say horrific cases, but there are cases where you have behavioral issues. There are people that are in homes and in residences that are organized by the state, with DDSN or the Department of Disabilities and Special Needs. We treat a lot of those patients that come on an annual basis. You've got people who need serious surgery. So there is a dental center that on the campus of Palmer Health Richland that manages some, from very simple cases, but very complex cases as well. So that campus clearly can handle, some very serious cases.
Time for one more question. Anybody have another question?
Excuse me, how many dentists basically at a time are there? In other words, is it multiple dentists? And how the hours?
Yes, they will have multiple dentists there, although usually they'll have somebody doing children, somebody doing adults, and the dentists rotate either by the half day or the day. And so there are 6 rooms at the Richland location. There are 3 at the Lexington location, so you got 9 rooms running every day. And then there also are 4 more rooms of children's dentistry at the Richland location that they staff as well. If you know anybody interested in volunteering, let me know. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Again, I didn't know about that. Anybody else here know about that? I know Wayne did, not many. Isn't that neat that this is going on? All hospitals are working together. How about that? They're all working together to make that happen. Let's hear it from hospitals. Thank you. What an important need. I know that the free medical clinic does a lot of work, but they're so small and they can only do so much, and this is something really special to serve some big numbers. And thank you for what you're doing for our community. The needs are great, for sure. I would like to, Carrie, let's talk about the next 2 meetings.
Okay, so the next 2 meetings, thank you, Barbara. Barbara's my spirit animal, so I appreciate you bailing me out today. Next week we have Frank Brown, who's going to give us an idea of what it's like to be an Alzheimer's caregiver, and we're very excited to hear about that. And the following week, we've got Dr. Fritz Hammer from the South Carolina Confederate Relic Room and Museum, and he's going to talk to us about the history of Fort Jackson. So be good.
As you all know, our club was instrumental in Fort Jackson being placed here in Columbia 100 years ago, and they're celebrating their 100th year along with us. They're a little bit behind us, but it should be really interesting, and I hope you'll be here for that. I'm very happy that Frank will speak with us. Frank's been a great supporter of our card fund since I've known about the card fund, and I think he's going to put personal perspective on what we're doing in our efforts to raise money for Alzheimer's research. I would like to ask our visiting Rotarians from India, as we leave, maybe if you could come over and stand on this side of the room. I would love for our members to greet them and share a little bit of South Carolina and Columbia hospitality with our guests from India. It's not often that we have visitors from India here, so we'd like to have folks have an opportunity to say hello to you. So as we get up, we will sing before we leave, but as we get up, if you come over to this side, let people say hello to you if you could. Thank you for being here today. I'm glad we learned something we didn't know before.